You've spoken about your restaurants. Let's talk about, this is an audience of hoteliers. Let's talk about the things I think that will also interest them. One is, in many ways, you're a transitional figure. When you came in as a chef, chefs were, as you said, Kansamas, people who ran the front of the house were kings. By the time you stepped down as being the top chef of the Taj Group, chefs were the kings. Nobody knew who these guys were. Tell me about that transition.
It's not about cooks or khansamas versus suit people. It's not about that. It was only that we wanted white coats to be recognized. That's it. I mean, I remember when I joined, the head of the marketing will come into the kitchen. Don't put recipe like this. Put something else. Put something this. Come on, I could not write the book on marketing at that time. Today I can. But that was a time when guys will teach, everybody was teaching us everything. I mean, the back of the house means you are treated like dirt.
Yeah.
Everybody will come in, oh, that's a cook. You're not allowed to come in front, not talk to the guest, not why not? The chef is an artist, artisan. Recognize them as an artist. A painter will come, oh wow, whether the painting people understand or not, they appreciate that fellow. With chapel, without chapel, they were recognized. But we as cooks and khansamas were not recognized. And that's what triggered the whole thing, and I wanted everybody to be. I said, create something for the customer, where customer relates to you directly. That this chef created this food, and not the guy who served the food.
Which you achieved, no? The Taj was the first chain to achieve that.
I don't know whether I achieved, but I wanted dignity of the chefs to be brought up. That's all I wanted. It was no personal vendetta or anything, but it was the passion for the chefs' fraternity to be recognized.
But did you think it would get to this stage? Around the time you took over as executive chef of the Taj, which must have been what, late 1980s?
Yeah, 85.
How did you get to that stature? No chef in India has ever reached that stature. How did you do it?
I think I was quite stubborn.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the reasons. But the customer had already recognized us.
Yeah.
That if I have to get good food, let me know the chef directly. When I can, it's not just an example. Why do I need to go through the priest?
Yeah.
So I can go and directly meet the God in the temple. True. So it was like that. People.
I love the parallel. Yeah. Okay, that's the first change you brought. And I think in the process, you elevated the state of the chefs in India, and chefs in India forever should be grateful to you. The second change you brought was the high value banquet. Until you came along, banquet menus were boring, predictable. You were the first person to do unusual banquet menus and to make people pay through their noses for it. How did you do that?
It is, one must know the way to man's pocket is through the woman.
So first you compared yourself to God, now you're talking about this is fun, go on.
You have to please the wife or the girl who's getting married.
Okay.
That look, we will do this for you. Create something different. It's not that people don't buy anything just from the face values.
Right.
You give the values attached. You create something for the occasion, and that magic works, and people are willing to pay money for that magic. Okay. Because luxury has become luxury unlimited today. There's no end to it.
But you invented the luxury banquet in India, no?
Why not? People have the money. We must be able to take it out.
Okay. That's your second great innovation. The third great innovation, and you can now be honest about this, so I think you're a consultant, is when you took over the Taj Bombay, there was a certain culture in the kitchen and throughout the company. You transformed that culture. How difficult was that?
It wasn't that easy.
What? 3 executive chefs had come and gone in quick succession before you, right?
4 of them.
4, sorry.
You see, it is give way
Yeah.
to the future.
Yeah.
That is number one. Either you produce results and continue the growth or give way to others. That should be the motto, I think.
So you think it's the fact that though you were working for a Parsi company in Bombay, you brought a certain amount of Punjabi aggression and stubbornness to your job?
To some extent,
Yes.
it was.
Yeah.
That Punjabis by nature are aggressive.
That we know, yeah.
So, no, my predecessor also there was a Punjabi, but
I don't think anyone's ever called him aggressive, no?
but he was not that aggressive. He was aggressive only up to the kitchen doors.
That's right. He was king of the kitchen, but not king outside the kitchen. You were king of the world.
No, I was not king. It is a question of how you put it across to the customer in a different way. And the customer had recognized us. ABCD family, the top families, they had recognized the efforts of the kitchen. If they wanted something to be done, it was one phone call away.
Yeah.
They didn't need to.
Basically, you cut out the middleman, no?
I think
Let's look at all the top Bombay banquets, all the top Bombay customers, from the Godrejes to the Bachchans. Nobody bothered with anybody in the management of the hotel. They called you directly.
You see, the middleman, everybody is cutting out these days.
Okay, so it's a good thing?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. Okay.
You make more
Hoteliers,
profits.
front of the house people remember that.
I'm talking about the middleman.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, the other thing which you've done, which I think you're not given enough credit for, is that you made it okay for vegetarians to go to French restaurants, Japanese restaurants, places where they felt there was no food for them. The menu at Wasabi by Morimoto is more Wasabi by Oberoi, because more than half the menu is vegetarian and they're dishes you've invented.
7 out of the 10 top Indian billionaires are vegetarians.
Yes.
They must come out, spend some of the money in our restaurants.
But that was always true.
So-
Yet no chef had found a way to cater to them.
Create something for them. That myth was broken in Wasabi, that there can't be anything vegetarian in Japanese food. Japanese food was always 15, 20 years back was looked at raw fish. Oh my God. Sushi, sashimi, no. Miso soup, no. That was the myth, which we created, from avocado carpaccios to the wasabi sorbets to everything we created. If there was a rock shrimp, we created a rock cone for the people.
Yeah.
That's where it started hitting them. Oh yes. And the Gen Next had already started coming out. They were going to some of the restaurants in Philadelphia, New York, or wherever they were traveling. So that we capitalized. They brought the senior members of the family out. And that just began.
So young people was the way through.
Yeah.
So for vegetarians, go through the children. For banquets, go through the wives.
Yes.
Basically. Okay. Final.
Some weaknesses you have to find
Yes,
out.
right. Okay. A final question. In 1991 or so, when liberalization started and people could import ingredients, you were the first chef to recognize the import of ingredients offered new opportunities and to recognize the import of ingredients. You used to, if I remember correctly, in the 90s, import vegetables from Amsterdam every week. Is that correct?
Yes, we
Yes.
used to.
So how did that happen?
I didn't have a word impossible in my dictionary.
But nobody had ever thought of that. In fact, I remember chefs telling me, "Ye to pagal hai, he imports his cherry tomatoes."
Yes, because if a product has to be made with that, for me, there was no substitutes. If it has to be a product, it must be a ingredient, get it, or don't put it on the menu. I did not allow a substitution or the changes. For me, the policy was Once the recipe is done, you make a change, you will get a change.
Okay.
So I wanted that perfection. If in Germany, a fresh asparagus is available in June, July, and I do asparagus, why can't I get asparagus? Let me get it. Even if people have to carry it in their hand, let them get it. So we got it.
Which many other chefs now do, but 25 years ago it was unthinkable, no? When you did it.
I mean, it was difficult. I can tell you that. It was difficult in those days, but we managed.
Okay, we're out of time, so final question to which I think everyone wants to know the answer, but which you have not given. You've retired from your main role at the Taj. You're staying on as a consultant to the Taj, which is why you're dressed as a suit boot wala and not as a guy in chef's whites.
Inside is still
yeah, chef's white. Okay, all right.
Yes.
It is no secret that billionaires from all over India and abroad are lining up at your door and offering to finance any new venture you start restaurants, start companies. So the question everybody wants to know is, what is Hemant Oberoi going to do next?
It's too early to say anything. Let the time come. I'm still with Taj. I'm still their consultant.
But
Wait
you
till
thought
March,
about it.
April next
But you
year.
thought about it.
Something should happen.
All right, you thought about it.
I can't sit idle.
Okay, all right. So I think the next time we do this, we'll have Hemant Oberoi here and he'll talk about his new venture. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
The great Hemant Oberoi.
Thank you.